Coach, is this exciting, getting closer and closer to the season, and time to finally get on the floor with the first season?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's nice that they changed the NCAA rules this year. We're allowed to start 2 weeks earlier than we normally would have. So it's exciting to get on the floor and see what we can do.
How much has that helped you, coaches? Because it's a new team, it's new faces, trying to get reacclimated, to have that extra time. How much has that paid off?
Well, it will pay off immensely. Yes. We're going to get 10, 12 hours of practice in this week and next week, where we would normally be limited to 2 hours. So we're going to get almost an extra 20 hours of practice in that we would not have normally had. And with a new team, you're trying to evaluate talent and players and things like that. That's instrumental.
I know it's a long way off, but week 1 against Pitt, that's got to be a matchup that you guys are looking forward to, just because of how big Pitt is nationally known in men's and women's basketball.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting place to play. Anytime you go into those historic arenas, it's always interesting, and it's a kids' day, so there'll be a lot of people there. It'll be a good crowd. So it's exciting.
Coach, go ahead.
Sorry. Last season ended, and you went into the off season with some physical question marks. People that couldn't play last year for a variety of reasons. What can you update us on how many of the people that are listed on the roster will probably be available in time for Pitt?
I would say, we would be close to 12. I think 11's pretty certain. About 12 is realistic. We've had a couple of young ladies quit the team. They're no longer with us, so it's not going to be more than 12. I know that, but we're looking at 12 right now.
All right.
Coach, how important is it that with the losing streak and everything that's happening now, is to get off that schneid, if you will, as soon as possible to start the season?
Well, I think everybody wants to start everything on a good note and get things rolling in the right direction, and that's obviously going to be a goal of ours. We start our first 2 on the road. I think it's 2 very good teams, so I don't know when it's going to happen, but it'll be a good challenge. It'll be a good way for us to evaluate where we are as a team.
Are you using that at all, Coach, just to try to motivate everyone to work just a little bit harder, just to put just a couple more minutes in at practice and to get that monkey off everybody's back?
We haven't talked about it a lot. I think everybody knows it exists. It's not something that we can easily hide from. But I think, for the most part, we've been pretty focused. We've had, we've been on the floor for 2 hours a week for the last 6 weeks, and I would say 75% of that's been pretty productive. So we've been pretty focused for the most part. Getting over that 25% of the practice we're wasting is going to be instrumental for us to being successful.
You got 4 out of 5 starters back. That's got to mean a lot just from an experience standpoint, Coach.
Yeah, we have plenty of upperclassmen, and our freshmen are doing a nice job stepping on the floor and competing. So we've had some very interesting practices, and looking forward to being able to spend more time in the gym this week.
What, in the limited amount of time that you've had with them on the floor, have you seen in the way of either improvement from what you knew you were getting, or just encouragement from the way they're doing what they're doing?
Well, I think we're shooting the ball better. I don't think we're anywhere where we need to be offensively, but we are shooting the ball better. That's something that we targeted very early and something that we needed to address as a staff, and I think we've done that and shown some improvement in that area. The other stuff, it seems like 6 weeks seems like a long time, but it's only 12 hours of court time, and it's hard to make too many decisions in that relatively short period of time. When you figure that we'll be in the gym over 12 hours in just this week alone, and that's all we've had for the last 6 weeks combined. So we have seen some improvement in the shooting, and that's probably where it ends at the moment, unfortunately.
What are some of the things you guys are going to focus on for these quote-unquote extra hours that you're going to get, whether it be install or just basic fundamental work?
Well, we do fundamental work every week, and that's something that we really pride ourselves on. You guys saw us play enough last year. We turned the ball over a lot. We didn't shoot the ball real well. So those are things that we address every day. I think for us, the extra time is just huge on us being able to evaluate. Most coaches come into the season, they have last year's evaluation, they have last year's season as an evaluation period, and then they've used the postseason and the preseason to kind of fine-tune some things. Well, we're using all this time to try to evaluate people and see what they can do effectively and what they can't do and what we can improve. So that's where those extra weeks are going to really come in handy for us.
is it too early, based again on that limited time, to say you've got some standouts, people that maybe are a little better than you thought, or were...
Yeah, probably. I mean, Brandy's good. That took about 8 minutes to figure that one out, but Brandy's good. You know, and I think after that, I don't know that we have a lot of separation in anybody at the moment. And again, you know, in that 12 hours, it's been a lot of skill development, and you know, and hopefully in the next 12 hours we're showing more skill development, and then hopefully we'll see some separation in some kids. But at the moment, we just haven't had enough gym time to really make a difference between players.
How is the system you bring in going to be different from last year's? And if you can answer that, what are you bringing in terms of system, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously depend on the three-point shot a lot more than last year's team did, and I know that probably scares some people when you look at numbers, but that's why the improvement in the shooting's been encouraging. You know, it's more of we're a little bit faster pace than what they played last year, less set plays, a little bit more what you would call motion type offense. You know, and we really haven't even scratched the surface of what we're going to do defensively, but we've been trying to improve offensive skill and fundamentals through the last couple of weeks.
Casey, do you have a question?
What would be the biggest thing you'll have to work on? Is it the shooting, defense? Like, what's the biggest area of concern that you have going into the season?
I think our biggest concern is probably just our mindset as a whole, and the way that we attack games, and what we want to do offensively and defensively, and just general improvement. You know, offensively, limiting our turnovers, making open shots, getting better shots, not taking contested shots, things of that sort. And then defensively, I mean, the offense gets a lot of attention because there's numbers associated with it, but defensively, you know, our point differential last year was the worst in the conference, so that's not all bad offense. We need to improve defensively as well, and those are some things that, you know, we'll be able to touch on in a little bit more detail, again, with these extra couple of weeks of practice later this week.
How would you characterize this group's basketball IQ at this point?
I would say above average. I mean, I think there's kids, they picked up what we've been teaching pretty quickly. You know, when you're talking about 12 to 14 kids, not everybody's going to pick up everything immediately. But I would say for the most part, there's a pretty good understanding of what we're trying to accomplish. You know, and it's been very vanilla. I mean, we haven't put a lot of stuff in. We haven't really gotten very complicated yet, because we've been, you know, we spend at least half of our 12 hours on strictly shooting and ball handling and passing and catching. So that doesn't leave a lot of time to get real complicated with stuff. And we'll see over the next couple of weeks as we start putting in different offensive situations, some multiple defenses, and things of that sort, how quickly we can get through all that stuff.